Welcome back. House Democrats are moving forward with a select committee to investigate the attack on the Capitol after Senate Republicans refused to pass a bill to create an independent bipartisan January 6th commission. According to the language of this bill establishing this committee, which will be voted on tomorrow, the committee's chair will have sole subpoena powers. There's no vote on whether a subpoena should be issued, which is not how it worked with the proposed bipartisan commission. But again, Republicans refused to have that. The committee will be composed of 13 members, 8 picked by Speaker Pelosi herself and 5 appointed after consultation with Minority Leader McCarthy. I'll be curious what that means. What it does mean, though, is Speaker Pelosi could reject choices made by the Republican leader if he chooses to make selections at all, say Marjorie Taylor Greene. Republican Whip Steve Scalise today did not commit to Republicans even serving on the committee. For her own picks, an aide to Speaker Pelosi told NBC News that she is seriously considering appointing a Republican. Obviously, there are 2 or 3 that jump out. There were 10 that voted to impeach the president. Joining me now from Capitol Hill is our own Garrett Haake. So, Garrett, this seems to be, I guess, number one, the focus being on the Republican Speaker Pelosi would pick. The first 2 names that jump out are Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. But it really seems as if Liz Cheney is the one that would create perhaps the most bipartisan look of any pick she would make.
Yeah, Chuck, and I think, frankly, that's probably the whole list, right? Those are the 2 Republicans who've at least left the door open here. A lot of the Republicans who either voted for impeachment or who voted for the commission idea to study what happened on January 6th have since come back and said, you know, this is the kind of thing they were trying to avoid. They didn't want to get into a partisan-leaning committee that'll look a lot like what we saw with Benghazi. I mean, the risks of picking Cheney are that she is such a separate brand, separate entity, and wouldn't necessarily go along with what Democrats are hoping to see done in this committee. But even with Cheney or Kinzinger, let's say, selected, Democrats would still control the majority of that committee with the way that the Speaker has broken it up. It's actually 1 seat more partisan than the Benghazi committee, potentially, even with a Republican selected by a Democratic Speaker. So there's a little bit of a firewall built in for Democrats there.
I am curious, the idea that in consultation with Kevin McCarthy. So is that really just they're doing that just to prevent Marjorie Taylor Greene? Is this an insurance policy against her being on the committee?
I don't know if it's just her, but I think it does allow a little bit of a veto there by the Speaker. And frankly, I don't know if she's a pick that Leader McCarthy would choose, even if he had complete unilateral ability to just pick whoever he wanted. She's not someone who's got close relationships with leadership. He has handled that relationship as carefully as he could. But I think if I'm Kevin McCarthy, I'm going to want to pick people who are allies of leadership, partisan warriors potentially, to be sure. That seems to be the way that Republicans want to handle this, but you want to pick people who you know you can work with and who aren't going to go rogue on you and create even more headaches or headlines based on how they conduct themselves when that committee holds hearings.